Okay, so for today, we're looking at systems in the real world. So let's go back to our warm-up just for a quick minute. So if we were to solve these two equations, like this system of equations, what information would that give us? Yes, so if we were to solve, so it looks like Punksy has more money to start with, but they are saving less each week. ZZ has less money to start with, but they are saving more each week. So these lines, if we were to graph them, will intersect. And at that point, that is the time where they have the exact same amount of money at the same number of weeks. And that will happen once if we were to solve this. So today what we're looking at is how do we take a word problem that involves a system of equations, set it up, solve it, and then make sure we understand the answer in context. So for our notes for today, you actually have a worksheet that has some different processes we're going to go through, but I want to show you some words. You don't have to write these down. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. So when we are looking at systems in the real world, we're going to do four things. First, we need to figure out what are the variables, and sometimes they'll be given to us. Then we're going to need to write equations based on the information we have and those variables. Then we'll end up with a system of equations and we're going to solve it. And sometimes it'll make sense to solve it using substitution, but sometimes elimination would be a better method. We can always check with graphing, but we want to definitely be practicing our algebra skills and solving with substitution or elimination. All right, and so once we solve it, then we need to think about what does that information mean in the context of the problem. So let's get started. We are going to go over, we're going to find, I would like you to find this problem on your worksheet. So it says you and a friend go to 7-Eleven to buy snacks. The top line is your purchase. The bottom line is your friend's purchase. Find the cost of 1 Snickers and 1 bag of Takis. So let's think about what are the missing parts. So we know that 2 Snickers and 3 Takis cost you $5.80. And we know that 3 Snickers and 1 Takis cost your friend $4.85. Yes. So we can identify the variables. I'm just going to use X and Y. You can use whatever you'd like. S and T are bad. Like S looks like a plus for me and T looks like a plus for me. I mean, S looks like a 5 and T looks like a plus. So I'm just going to use an X and a Y. And I'm going to say that X is the cost of 1 Snickers. And then I'm going to say that Y, oh, I already have Y, is the cost of 1 Takis. So our equations, in this case, our equations are pretty much like visually written for us, right? In this first one, we have 2 Snickers plus 3 Takis equals $5.80. The second one, your friend's amount, we have 3 Snickers plus 1 Takis, I don't need that 1 there, is $4.85. Good? So there are my 2 equations. I need to solve this. I think they're set up for elimination, so I'm going to practice elimination for you. If you want to do substitution because you see that Y there, that's fine. But let's do this one together. Or if you want to try yours with substitution, that's fine. I'm going to line these up. And although we can't eliminate this way, all I need to do, because this is a 1 here, right, is I'm going to just multiply this equation. I can do it by -3, and then that'll be, then I can just add them. Or if I multiply it by 3, I can subtract them. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's multiply by -3, because that's going to turn that into a negative. So -3 times +3 is -9x. -3 times 1 is -3y. And 485 times -3, use my calculator, you are allowed to, is -1455. Right, so I'm going to rewrite this other one under here. I'm just going to add them up. So -9 plus 2 is -7x. -3 plus 3 is 0y. And -1455 plus $5.80. I'm going to use my calculator to make sure I don't make a mistake. And I end up with -8.75. Good. Next step, I need to divide by -7. And so x equals 1.25. What does that mean in the context of the problem? Yes, my cost of one Snickers is 1.25, but if I want to make it an ordered pair, right, now I need to substitute that back in to figure out the missing value. So instead, I'll just do this first equation up here. Instead of x, I'm going to put 2 times 1.25 plus 3y equals 580. And so we end up with 250 plus 3y equals 580. Now I'm going to subtract 250 from both sides. 3y equals, again, I'm using my calculator for every step just to make sure I avoid as many calculation errors as possible. Remember, with decimals, you have to line them up. And now I'm going to divide by 3. And so y equals 1.1. So that's the solution. Now, yes, when we graph these, our solution is an ordered pair. It's where they intersect. But when we are looking at a word problem, there's actually a meaning there. It's not just an ordered pair. So what is the meaning? Well, let's see. X was the cost of a Snickers. So one Snickers costs $1.25. And Y represented the cost of one Takis. So one bag of Takis costs $1.10. Make sure you add that 0 because money, you need to have that 100. How fun. What do you think? Okay, let's try one more. It's got a little bit of a different setup. So on your worksheet, there may be a mistake. So I want to make sure that you change your problem so that it matches mine. It should say Shauna sold 12 sweatshirts and collected. This number should be $375. I think yours says 320, might say 320, but just make sure that says 375. Cross it off if it doesn't and change it. Heavy sweatshirts cost $40 and lightweight sweatshirts cost $25. Again, you need to change it. I think this might say 40 on some people's. Make sure it says 25. Okay, so we need to, what are the two variables here? This one is a little bit different. We have different information. That's right, we have two different kinds of sweatshirts. So I'm going to let X equal the heavy sweatshirt or heavyweight. And I'm going to let Y equal the lightweight. So in this case, we have two different, the equations we need to write. One of them is about the number of sweatshirts sold. Let me just say number sold. And then the other equation is about the total earned or the total collected, the total costs. total money. Let's do that. So let's think about it. We have heavyweight and lightweight sweatshirts. All together, how many were sold? Yeah, right? 12. So the heavyweight sweatshirts plus the lightweight sweatshirts has to equal 12. So there's my equation about the number of sweatshirts sold. The second one is about the total money that we earned. So she sold 12 sweatshirts. We don't know how many of each, but she made $375. And we know that our heavyweight sweatshirts cost $40 each, and our lightweight sweatshirts cost $25 each, for a total of $375. On the last problem, we had two different people buying the same categories of items. In this one, we have instead of two different people, we have two different categories. We need one equation about the number. We need one equation about the money. All right, so now this is set up for either one. You'd have to multiply, or I'm going to do substitution on this because I miss it. I haven't done it in a while. So I have x plus y equals 12. And I have 40x plus 25y equals 375. And so I'm going to solve, I'll just solve for x. So I'm going to subtract y. So x equals 12 minus y. So here we go, substitution. Instead of x, I'm going to put 12 minus y. So we have 40 times 12 minus y. Remember, you're copying this down. Have out your calculator. If you're moving ahead because you get it, that's awesome. Keep going. All right, 40 times 12 in my calculator. 480 minus 40y plus 25y equals 375. You guys are doing a good job with this. We need to group by like terms. So 480, again, I'm using my calculator on every step just to make sure I don't make any calculation errors. So negative 40 plus 25 is negative 15. Next step, subtract 480. Subtract 480. Negative 15y equals, I know some of you already got it. You guys are quick. Negative 105. Last step, divide by negative 15. Divide by negative 15. And I end up with y equals 7. So that means for my solution 7. And then I know that x plus y has to equal 12. So some number plus 7 has to equal 12. And then if we subtract 7, x has to equal 5. You might not have had to do that. You might have known that in your head. This one was pretty simple. And so we end up with 5, 7. And if we were just solving this, that would be fine. But this is a word problem. So you need to figure out what this means in the context of the problem. So X is my heavyweights. So that means that she sold 5 heavyweight sweatshirts. And Y was my lightweight. And so she sold 7 lightweights. That looks terrible. I'm going to change that to, looks like an E. Lightweight sweatshirts. I could just, pictures in my way. Sweatshirts. How fun is that? One of my favorites. Okay, so you're going to now do 2 on your own. They are on the back of this paper. And let me see if I can get to that page. I want you to try them. Now, the second problem, there is one more mistake. I made a lot of good mistakes on this worksheet, I'm telling you. So If you guys could quickly take a look, you have two different problems. They're very similar to the front. So you use your front as a model as you work through them. Katie buys 50 movie tickets for $60.25. This number right here might be different on yours. Make sure you change it to $60.25, $60.25 before you get started on that problem. And then when you are done, you will check the answer key with your guest teacher. So I hope that it goes good.